Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. It's time to know ya. I don't have the instrumental backing track yet, but it's gonna say boo right there. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Know Ya Boo. I'm your host, Tom Haverford, and with me, as always, is my CGI puppy co-host, Bobby the Boo. Woof, woof. Hey, everybody. All right, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Know Ya Boo. Should have screen recorded that weeks ago, for sure. Just came upon my mind this week, so hope you guys enjoyed that. Anybody watch Parks and Rec? Oh, okay. Quite a few out there. Love you guys. My people. We're going to play Know Ya Boo with Judah and Logen, Louder-Webster. Let's give it up for our guests tonight. They're here. They're going for the 100% in Know Ya Boo tonight. We'll see. All right. Now, you guys don't have kids, right? Just dogs. All right, so now they've got to get into the imagination mode. You have a baby on the way. Okay? Okay. What if Logan had the choice of what superpower the baby could have? What superpower is Logan going with for the newborn?
Oh, well, I know because we talk about this all the time.
Fantastic.
This is something I would know.
Well, we'll let her write it down just for fun.
So she can't change her answer. What are favorite superheroes?
She has 6 reasons as to why. Yeah, thanks, Mom. Well, she didn't have the choice. It's not real. Thanks, Mom. Okay, are you ready?
Wait, do I write?
You can. I mean, you're going to go next, but...
Oh, do I have to guess for her? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, you have to guess for her now. Okay, what did Logan say superpower is going to be for Baby Louder?
I would say something cool and wise. Infinite something. Either infinite wisdom or infinite money. I would say...
That's not... By the way, you guys can use the mic to answer. Sorry, that was a terrible host.
Good, because I'm going to change my answer, because that's not...
Infinite money.
That's dumb.
My baby's now an ATM, so that's weird.
That's
Cool.
selfishly, I would like, if I don't get a superpower and my baby gets one, I would say infinite money. Man, I don't know. Super strength would be helpful, is what I think she picked.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
it super strength?
I'm all thinking about how can it benefit me. Yeah, that's my guess.
Because this baby's going to have to help us move one day, so...
Absolutely. No, I said to be immortal.
Immortal.
Yeah.
So close to immortal money. So close. All right, Judah, are you ready already with your answer that you think Logan can guess? All right, Logan, what superpower is Judah going to choose for this baby?
Probably to teleport.
You can use that microphone.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I thought I had that much of a range.
It was like out here.
To teleport.
Teleport.
Yeah.
Good. I chose infinite money.
Man, I should have done that.
It benefits them, but ultimately it also benefits us.
True. I'm coming over. Why is there an ATM in the nursery? Like, what's going on here?
You asked too many questions.
All right. I don't know if I want to even go any further. There's not going to be anything better from here. So we will. It's much lower hanging fruit, this one, though. Favorite ice cream flavor of Logan's? She's not sure. That's not good. We're on the ropes.
So, I'll wait. I'll let you write it down. Okay.
Bonus points if you know where it's coming from.
Yes.
Dairy
yes.
Queen, whatever.
So standard, if you're just going to a store getting a flavor and there's not a lot of options, chocolate is the classic. If we're going to Dairy Queen, it would be I think it's a chocolate brownie blizzard, but you have to request that they use chocolate ice cream instead of vanilla ice cream. So it's a chocolate blizzard with chocolate ice cream would be my ultimate guess.
Chocolate blizzard, chocolate ice cream.
Special request.
It is
from
it?
DQ. No! What is it?
Spell it. Neapolitan?
Neapolitan?
Tell him how I eat it.
She eats it like a monster. So
No.
Neapolitan ice cream it's like the chocolate and then the vanilla and then the strawberry.
Yeah.
So the way I was raised, because I was raised in a good Christian American household, is that you scoop with the grain of the ice cream. You get a scoop of strawberry, you get a scoop of vanilla, and you get a scoop of chocolate. Their household is chaos. They scoop against the grain so that each scoop is a third chocolate, a third vanilla, and a third strawberry. And then it just congeals into a brown mush. And it's chaotic. And it's un-American, frankly.
It's un-American.
It's a terrorist attack. Right? But yeah, I forget. Yeah, you do like Neapolitan ice cream.
I'm pretty sure Uncle's a serial killer.
You were right about the Dairy Queen order. That is my exact order.
That's the exact go-to.
But not my
So
favorite.
that's where you're going after this. Dairy Queen for that. I like it. All right, Judah's favorite ice cream flavor. Is it also Neapolitan, but the opposite way they eat it?
No, his favorite is it's chaos,
Oh.
but the opposite way.
Guys that don't like each other's ice cream. Okay.
Whenever we go get ice cream and he has the option of getting different ones, he just picks the weirdest ones, and then it congeals, and then he slurps it down. It's gross. It's really gross. His favorite ice cream, though, is don't show me. Oh man, why is it so hard? Oh,
No hints.
When I say it, you're going to get mad.
I'm gonna get really mad.
You get real mad.
You like any ice cream?
I do. I just like ice cream.
You like
There's a specific one. There's a specific one.
butter pecan?
It's butter pecan!
Oh
We're on the board.
Butter pecan. Specifically because no one else likes butter pecan. So if I buy it, no one else eats it. I don't even have to put my name on it.
Bro, that's what my dad
just
said growing up.
exists.
And I was like, you can have that crap.
That's exactly right.
All right, butter pecan. That's the only correct one, right, so far? So we're not... Do not know you, boo. Not even their favorite ice cream. Okay, okay, let's go with this one. Who is the most famous person that annoys Logan? Like she can't stand this celebrity. She's eating her Neapolitan ice cream like a absolute crazy person, going like, oh, this person, Gordon Ramsay, just drives me insane. I hope it's not Gordon Ramsay and I just gave it away, but who does she complain about? Maybe I could imagine Kayla doing this more than anybody else in the house. Yeah. Justin Bieber. I just want to kneecap him. All right, she's got it. Who is it?
Okay, there's a couple YouTubers that I know she doesn't like Amber Lynn or Trisha Paytas are two big ones that she and I both dislike a lot. If we're talking celebrities, I would say that, bro, that one guy from Ink Master, I know you really don't like, the guy with the stringy mustache. The guy with the stringy mustache from Ink Master. And that's exactly what she wrote down. She didn't write down his name.
Is that it, word for word?
No.
Okay.
You had it right earlier, Amber
Oh,
Lynn.
Amber Lynn!
Yeah.
It was Amber Lynn. I was right.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite YouTuber? No. Okay.
No one.
I'm going to take a guess and say it's not.
All right. Who's the famous person that most annoys Judah?
No, I play video games. I don't know celebrities.
That will make it more interesting.
We have very boring lives. We We enjoy woodworking and finance.
Hey, Dave Ramsey and his stupid radio show.
I know who it is.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Has he finished writing it down?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
No, I haven't.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll just tell you if you're right. I'll tell you if you're right.
I don't know his name, but Caleb has fallen for him.
Oh, yeah, Ty Lopez. I hate Ty Lopez. Oh.
Nobody likes Ty Lopez.
Yeah, he's the worst. But he really does annoy me. He's scamming to my brother. Not like personally, but like online.
Yeah.
He didn't like rob him, but
It's like a get rich quick kind of scheme.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the you're in my garage.
Yeah.
You know what I like better than driving my Lamborghini out in the hills? Knowledge.
I got this racquetball court, and I don't even play. That's how much money I have. Click the link.
That's when I decided I did not like him.
Right.
Doesn't even use his racquetball court.
Who were you halfway writing down?
Nikado Avocado.
Who?
We don't know regular celebrity.
I don't know. Do you know Nikado Avocado?
Yeah,
Is that a YouTuber?
He's a YouTuber, yeah.
Oh, okay. I only know like Jake Paul,
Yeah, no, I'm
who
not
is
a fan.
very annoying, who went on
very annoying.
his social media last night and called out Conor McGregor. And he said, I'll give you $10,000 to fight me because he doesn't think he's worth anything now.
Boy, yeah, no, he's not.
He's going to get wrecked in the face. Okay. Let me see. I want to pick, I think, one more. I've got a
Okay.
couple left here. Okay.
We're not.
Yeah,
got
we're
one.
at. Yeah, I want to just put you out of your misery here, but we'll go with hopefully an easy one. A movie that Logan could watch over and over and over again.
Oh, don't even write it down. The Kissing Booth, National Treasure, and Shrek. Also, Elf and the Grinch.
Those
are the 5 movies, and the only 5 movies
In order.
that she has possibly ever seen.
possibly the only.
Because when she
Okay.
wants to watch a movie, that's the choice.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Wait, how many movies was that?
I think it was 5 movies.
5 points. Wow.
points. Wow.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Didn't know that could even happen, and I started the game.
Yeah.
Way to go and break
I
it.
know one thing about Logan, and that she watches The Kissing Booth, The Grinch, National Treasure, Elf, and Shrek. On a
Awesome.
loop. all I
Fantastic
need to know.
choices. I
That's all I
mean,
need. Yeah, they're good. If you're gonna pick 5 movies,
it's got the spectrum.
yeah.
It's pretty much what she would bring to an island if she was
Most- yeah.
stranded. Like,
National Treasure. She watched the first one, then started watching the second one. I came in halfway through the second one, and I go, "Oh, is this National Treasure?" She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, I love that movie. We should watch it together." And then she started it over, and just began watching National Treasure again after watching 1.5 movies.
I did that with Tenet
yeah.
last night. Have you ever watched? Anybody seen Tenet in here?
No,
movie?
it's on my list though.
It's crazy. It's that new Christopher Nolan movie. The guy who did Inception. But, so that's the reason. I got to the end and I'm like, I have no idea what just happened. And can we watch this again? And my wife said, no, we cannot. It's bedtime. It was 2.5 hours. So that's about it. Maybe Nick Cage can bring a little more levity to.
Absolutely.
Can put me to sleep a little easier. National Treasure. All right, are there 5 movies for Judah, or just one movie, or 5 that he would watch over and over and over again?
Specific.
Yeah.
Oh, you said it recently.
I did,
Oh, here we go.
but you don't listen. No, just
Transitions us pretty well into the interview questions. Who is more slow to anger and quick to listen?
No, we'll get there. Oh man, I can't remember.
There's a couple right answers.
Yeah, well, I mean, TV show for sure, The Office.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
listen to The Office and picture in your mind what's happening. It's insane. It's insane. Oh, but the movie though, it was. Oh, that's gonna. Oh, what is it?
It's right there. Oh,
3?
it's a trilogy.
Pick any of them.
Okay.
No, it's not a trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Separate, distinct.
Oh, like over and over again. I don't know. You always want to watch The Green Room.
It's The Green Room.
Okay.
She's correct. It's The Green Room. Terrible movie. I don't. No one should watch it, but I love it. It's for me. It's got Sir Patrick, the guy. Patrick. Stewart, Patrick Stewart. It's got Sir Patrick Stewart, and really good film. Real good movie. It's not a good movie, but it's got Patrick Stewart in it.
All right.
All right.
So on the way back
Sure.
home,
Yeah.
Dairy Queen, get her Blizzard.
Yep.
Get your butter pecan.
Yep.
Green Room.
Green Room.
There it is.
No, she will not watch it. But I will watch Kissing Booth National. No, I won't watch Kissing Booth. National Treasure I will watch.
All right, well, you guys are going to have to decide the movie. I set you up for a perfect date tonight. Okay, let's get to the questions. And speaking of, what is your perfect picture of a date?
Cute. My answer is very practical, and hers is very emotional, which you may notice is the theme in our relationship. My favorite date with her is going to like small towns with like falls in the name, like Cuyahoga Falls and Cuyahoga Falls, and Amish country, just like little shops like that. And I like going to shops and looking at woodworking stuff and just stuff that any 80-year-old couple would do together. I really enjoy watching swans, big pastime.
I love this.
Form cheese, yeah, stuff like that. I really
Take
enjoy
notes, my friends. Come on now. Preach. All right, same thing, or?
It basically encompasses that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Strengthening you. My idea of a perfect date would be, I really like when we reminisce. So like we go on dates that we've previously gone on, and just think of the memories. We also like to go adventure in new cities and experience new things, new restaurants. But all in all, it's all about the intentionality of a date is my favorite kind of date, where, we never had a problem, putting our phones down or anything. That was never an issue. But more so of being able to make that time to have good conversations. And the first 6 months of our dating life, we went through a lot of hard conversations on our dates because we were long distance, and so our dates were like an event, like how Kayla had mentioned last week. And so they would always end, on a good note, but we would have hashed out through a whole bunch of things, and that I think has continued on in our marriage, where that's our time of a date to make sure we're on the same page. So like having those good conversations, hashing out things, getting on the same page about things is what I love about our dates. Yeah.
You went through a lot of deep conversations on the front end.
Yeah.
I could see like the pattern why you guys have matured so much so quickly, where it's now swans and antiques. And
we're retired already. We're emotionally retired.
You're right.
But yeah, because we only got to see each other like once a week or once every other week. So our first couple dates, the first like hour was like dinner and walking around. And then the last 3 hours was like, what's your favorite style of home? What's your financial situation like? How many children would you like? Because we needed to know these things. Because if I'm going to drive an hour and a half to see you again, I need to know that you like colonial houses.
It's an investment.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
is, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how long did you guys date, and how long have you been married?
Ooh, we just did the math. Now I'm sweating. Here we go. Okay, we've been together, I think, nearly 5 years, or maybe it has been 5 years. April of 2016. April of 2016 was when we started dating. We dated for 2 years and 5 months before we got married, and we have now been dating. We still kind of date, but we've been married for.
Forever dating.
Forever dating. We have been married for, I think, 2 years and 2 months. So we're 2 years and 4 months. So we're coming up on being married longer than we have been dating in our relationship.
Right on. Okay, so you got to the point where you were like, this is serious enough. I'm driving an hour and a half. Tell us about the first time you guys met. Was it love at first sight? Is there a white van involved?
There was. As most love stories start, ours began with a creepy white van. So I'll very quickly lay the groundwork, and then I'll let Logan take it from here. So we long distance dated, and we had been talking for a while. Like before going on our first date, we had been talking like on the phone and texting and stuff. And I was trying to figure out like where I wanted to take Logan on our first date. And I was in Cleveland one day, and I went to the aquarium, and I really, really enjoyed it. And so I asked her if she wanted to join me, and she said yes. So it was like our first date that was all planned. So the following week, I drove up, and my plan was to get there before her and to wait for her. And then when we met in the parking lot, I had this really adorable idea where I would play, there's this one really cute song called This Magic Moment by Benny King. It's an old song. It's lovely. And I wanted to play it while we were like meeting each other for the first time. It's a very romantic idea. Well, I drove the oldest car in the world with nearly 200,000 miles on it, so I couldn't drive it. I couldn't drive it while it was raining. That's true. If the roads were wet, I could not drive it because it wouldn't operate. So I borrowed my mom's vehicle, and my mom ran a cleaning business, so her vehicle was a large, like, unidentifiable white van. So I drove that up, and I didn't think it was a problem. But now, so you know what I was trying to do, so I'll shift it now to Logan's perspective of how the date was going. So I actually ended up getting there after her, so that the date was the plane was off.
I did not know he would arrive in a white van. So I get to the aquarium, and I go inside, and I'm waiting for him because it's really cold outside. It's April in Cleveland, not good weather. Yeah. And I'm in there, and I'm waiting, and I get a text from him asking where I was. I said, I'm inside, where are you? And he said, okay, can you come back outside? And I'm like, why? It's cold. And he's like, this is all text. This is literally all he says. Yeah. Well, it's a surprise. And I was like,
which is bad on the first date, by the way.
And I was like, still no. Yeah. And he's like, okay, well, it's gonna be a surprise, but okay. So can you just come outside? I have a big surprise for you in my car. Can you just come outside? And I was like, I don't know. And so the third time he tries again, can you come outside to the white van all the way out in the back of the parking lot with the doors open.
All caps.
And the engine running because I needed to play the song.
No.
So what's your anxiety level here?
Oh, really high. Really high. Yeah. And so I'm meeting him for the first time. We were online dating. Yeah. And I had my mace with me, thank God. Yeah. And I was inside, and I was looking at the security card there, and I was like praying, and I was like, Lord, give me a sign. Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing right now? Should I leave? Yeah. Should I get him to escort me to my car? So I'm praying, and I'm thinking, and I have my hand on the mace, and I just had a feeling that I should just go do it. Like, whatever happens, the Lord's got me. I should just go do it.
Important note. She shouldn't have. If you are ever in that situation, this was the 1% of time that it was okay. If that ever happens to you, don't do it.
She was a younger Christian at the time. God's got me.
Oh, yeah. So, and you'll see later on the day, I should not have trusted my judgment. So I hold on my mace in my purse discreetly, and I'm like, okay, I got this. So I text him, I'm like, okay, I'm coming out. So there's 13 cars in the parking lot. I walk past them, and he's 30 yards out. Only car there, white van, doors open. I can't see him anywhere. And so I'm like, this is sketchy now. And so I'm praying as I'm walking. And then all of a sudden he comes on the car, and he sees me. I hear Benny King, This Magic Moment. We hug, and it was a great time. No. And then we go inside. It's the aquarium, and he didn't realize, but you want to talk about the tortoise?
Yeah, I'm a really bad planner, and I'm kind of a dumb guy, and and I don't learn lessons. So I didn't do any research as to when the aquarium opened and closed, and we were there 4:15 on a weekend, and they closed at 5. So we had 45 minutes to sprint through and see everything. And we were running through, and for some reason in my head, and it's important to note, Logan and I had not gone on many dates with other people before meeting each other, so I was not good at going on dates. So I was like, okay, what are the ladies like? What can I do to really impress her? So the last time I was at the aquarium, there was this old man who took care of all the tortoises, and he was very informational, and he knew a lot about tortoises. So I talked to him for a long time because he's a good man to know. He's a good, wise old man with a lot of life lessons. So I talked to him for like a good hour the last time I was at the aquarium. So we didn't have a lot of time, so we kind of ran through some of the other stuff, and we got to the tortoises, and like, this is my time to shine. I'm going to teach her everything about these tortoises. But the old man was missing, and with him, all of his years of wisdom, much like the tortoises.
I don't know this part.
So there's this young girl who was like filling in for him, taking care of the tortoises. And she was new. She didn't know as much about them. So to impress Logan, I was like, okay, I'll talk to this young lady instead of talking to Logan for the better part of a half hour about tortoises. So I physically, at a certain point, had my back turned to Logan, talking to somebody else. Yes. I was like, did you know that tortoises on average live for, like, just telling this zoo worker facts, or this aquarium worker facts. And, yeah, surprisingly, that didn't help. So then we ran through, and we were really running out of time, and we got to the shark tunnel. The shark tunnel is very cool for anyone who has not been to the aquarium. And we had to go so fast, it gave me an opportunity to hold her hand as we went through. And so that was a really nice experience. But, yeah, so poor planning on my part. As an aside, I wanted to take Logan on a date to the Cleveland Museum of Art today, after being together for 5 years. And I did not book tickets ahead of time. And we drove an hour to the museum and were turned away by security. So I have not learned. But yeah.
Then I talked to this security guy for 30 minutes with my back turned to my wife.
Yeah. We're not done yet, though.
Yeah, we're not done.
Yes, it got better, I believe.
Yeah.
They fell in love.
So as we were leaving the aquarium, we didn't want the date to end yet because we were hungry and he had a long drive home. So we found a coupon while we were at the aquarium for a melt. I'm like, oh, let's go to the melt. He's like, I've never been to the melt. Let's go. So we go there and we get seated and we chat about our dads over fried pickles, and it was the best of times. And then we end there. We go and you want to add?
Can I mention one thing? So it's important to mention. I have 3 very feminist sisters who gave me very good advice that women don't like having the meal paid for them because it makes you look like you don't think that they can afford to pay for themselves. So I didn't pay for her on our first date. And in fact, tried to explain to her why actually it was a good idea for us to pay separately because we had 2 coupons, not 1. So I was like, if we pay separately, the net is that less money has been spent, even though half the money is now you having to spend money. So I made her pay for her own meal after making her think I was going to kidnap her. And that's not the end of the date continued past this. So it's not all my fault. Logan continued to choose to spend time with me.
That was the Lord.
Yeah, that was the Lord.
So we hung out in my car for a little while, and we still didn't want to end the date. And so he suggested going to the pier because we're by Lakewood, by the lake. And I was like, oh, perfect. I'm a dingus. And so I could only think of one pier, and that was the one 5 minutes from my house.
Which is 30 minutes from where we were. Yeah. And also 30 minutes away from the highway exit I needed to be on to go home.
So we get in my car, and we knew it was going to be chilly, so he already had a jacket. I did not plan well. So what did I do? I drove to my house, a stranger, to my house. I left him in my running car, went inside, got a jacket. Luckily, he was still there.
Here's my address, by the way. Here's where I live, doors unlocked, parents are asleep inside. So
bad judgment. Yeah. And so we get in the car, we go to the pier, hang out there. We're sitting on the rocks, enjoying the sunset. And finally, the date had to end. Mm-hmm. And as we're walking up.
So we were walking up. I had a really good feeling about the date. I mean, despite everything that happened, it was a fantastic date, and I enjoyed getting to know her, and I was very excited about our future. So I wanted to let her know that I was excited about her future, but I didn't know how she would react, so I was trying to gather up the courage. So finally, as we were almost at our cars, I gathered up the courage. I took a big, deep breath, and I squeezed her hand, and I was about to tell her that I had a good feeling about us when she looked at me, and she said, hey, I just want you to know I called the cops. No, just kidding. No, she said no. She shut up. No, when she looked at me and she said, I want you to know I have a really good feeling about this, and like I would like to see you again. So it was a beautiful ending to the date. And I drove home 90 minutes in the dark, past midnight, hydroplaning the entire way home in my mom's big van. Ran out of gas, so I had to get gas at 1 a.m. Nearly hit a deer, and then finally got home. Everyone was asleep, and my sister was awake, and she asked how the date went. And I told her, I said, I need to tell you this because no one is going to believe me when I say this later, but I think I just went on a date with the girl that I'm going to marry. That was right. This was really nice.
That's perfect.
Beautiful,
My next question with all that is, how did you determine the other person was marriage material? You know,
She's still on the fence.
Our students need to know, even if you were like, I didn't make a great decision on if they were marriage material, they need to know your fumbles. No, but I'm sure you guys were wise.
Yeah, there was a couple things. For me, it was the fact that I'm a very, very independent person, and I love spending time with myself. I love alone time. I love solo camping and doing road trips by myself and all that stuff. And Logan was the first person that I met that I legitimately, when I wanted to spend time with her more than I wanted to spend time by myself. Which, to this day, she is still the only person. It's like hanging out with her, and then hanging out with myself, and then hanging out with anybody else. So I would rather be by myself than hang out with almost anybody. So that's how I knew for her. How'd you know for me?
I know I should say something sweet.
That's fine.
No, I think for me it was I had a lot of overcoming my own insecurities and my own shallowness in looking for a partner. And in doing so, dating you really opened my eyes to a whole bunch of different opportunities and different viewpoints. And we had to hash out a lot of things, especially in those first 6 months of, getting those big values out of making sure that we're on the same page. We're not just dating to date, my end goal is marriage. And so I'm like, you're not gonna waste my time. I need to know what's going on. And there were a few times in our first 6 months that both of us almost walked away because of different conversations that we've had and things that we've ended on. And so through that and through ending up at those different points and discussing things, then I realized you can stick around a little longer. We can keep going through this. Yeah. And it wasn't until I think our 1 year dating anniversary that I started really envisioning us after marriage to realize that I want that. Yeah.
Logan was and continues to be an extremely emotionally intelligent person. She's very aware of how she's feeling, and she's very aware of what her priorities are. And I am not. I'm very, however I'm feeling at that moment is what drives me to say the things I say and do the things I do and make decisions. And it's for example, and we might be jumping ahead of ourselves, but I liked her a lot, and we'll get to this later, but I didn't love her for a very long time, but I thought I did. And on our second date, near the end of it, again, second date, I have seen this human being for a total of probably 4 hours of face-to-face time. And I told her, I was like, hey, I don't want to freak you out, but I got to tell you how I'm feeling about you right now. And again, it's because how I was feeling at that moment. I was like, I just want you to know, I can feel myself falling in love with you. And I was super emotional, and I was waiting for her to say it back to me. But again, she's very emotionally intelligent, and she knows that you can't fall in love with a person after 4 hours. So I was like, I just want you to know that I am falling in love with you. And then there was a very long silence. And Logan went, thank you.
30 of those minutes, 30 of those 4 hours were spent with your back
silence. Yeah. And but that being said, so because of that, she was able to guide our relationship in a really healthy way, where all I could think about was how much I liked her and how much I wanted to be with her. And I was like, let's get married and buy a house and move to Puerto Rico and raise dogs professionally or whatever. But she had a lot of things that she needed to feel confident in before agreeing to move forward. So we had talks about how, like, what my views were towards children and where I was in my walk with God and how I was with my finances, which at the time was not good. And she asked me, like, what do I want to do for a living? What do I want to do with my life? And I didn't know any of that. I was 20, and I had, like, just recently, started my own life and stuff like that, and I didn't have any of that figured out. And we were walking around, actually, outside is it too early to say? We might say this later. I'll say it now. We were walking around outside on one of our dates outside the Museum of Art, and, like, she asked me what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't really know. I was like, I like construction. I might do that. My dad owns a business. I might help him run that. And I didn't know, and I didn't have any commitments. And so we kind of, like, argued about that a little bit, because she wanted someone who knew what they wanted out of life, and she wanted someone who was, like, committed towards her and committed to raising a family, and I didn't know any of that. And so I had already, at this point, told her that I loved her, like, several times, and she hadn't said it back because she's emotionally intelligent, and she's like, I'm not going to say that, you dingus, until we know more. But, like, I had said it to her, and so she finally said to me, she was like, listen, I want you to know this, like, I like you a lot, and I think that, like, with time, I will grow to love you, but I'm not going to let my future children go hungry because you can't, like, figure out what you want out of life. And that was a really big moment in our relationship where I realized, I was like, it wasn't just about me anymore. And it wasn't even just about us. It was about the future family that we might raise and the future relationship that we might get into. So from that point, we started taking intentional steps and having really intentional conversations to work out our finances and our career and our life trajectory together. So that was really healthy. I'm glad she did it because it set me on a good goal.
Awesome. Well, my next question was, how do you guys, or what's the most difficult part about stepping from being single into dating, and then from being in your dating life into marriage? But I think you answered a lot there. It's these conversations that you're having, and you have to have the wisdom of Jesus in those things. So how have you guys, in following Jesus, learned to love each other like he does? Because it sounds like you're saying, well, I'll get there, honey. And he was like, ready, I want to say I love you right now. How do you now, following Jesus for 4 or 5 years together, learn to love each other like he does? You.
When we were reading over these questions, we had a million different responses, and we didn't know really what our response was. But what we landed on for this question was, in your walk with God, that one of the first things you learn is that God loves you unconditionally. And there's the idea of agape that we say. And with humans, it's kind of it's impossible to love someone truly unconditionally or to love somebody as much as Jesus loves you, because they're just two different levels. But trying to mirror the way that I know Christ loves me and mirror the way that I know Christ loves Logan in how we treat each other has been extremely helpful. We've said this several times, and it sounds kind of scary to say, but it's true, that if we didn't have a Christ-centered relationship with each other, that there are a couple times that we can actually name a number of times when we probably would have left each other, and if we were in a person-focused or a self-focused relationship. Because there's this kind of idea that society pushes on you that a good relationship with another person is one where the two of you are consistently happy. And the moment that human stops making you happy, that's a sign that relationship needs to end. And that's not true at all, especially with marriage. That there have been many, many times where one of us was not making the other person immediately happy with a decision that we were making, or with a choice that we knew the other person was going to make, or a thing we said to the other person, or the way we made each other feel. And if we were in a self-centered relationship, or if we were just casually dating, that we would have left each other. But our marriage being focused on honoring God and bringing glory to God allowed us to see past how we were feeling about each other in that specific moment and see into the future and see that if we were mad at each other for a season, we were mad at each other for a time, but that would pass. And that our marriage has not been about maximizing each other's immediate happiness at any given second. It's been about forming a relationship with each other that leads to success for each other, emotional stability, financial stability, and spiritual connectivity with each other, which is much stronger than any two humans alone can make each other feel.
Okay, very good. Build your relationship on God's grace. When you read in the Bible that love keeps no record of wrongs and you're in a real serious relationship, you start to realize how hard that is.
Yeah.
Love keeps no record of wrongs. Like, I keep lots of records of wrongs, and you start to learn to give each other grace. And I love that. Like, there was a season where we were angry at each other, but God taught us how to have grace and love toward one another and to put the other person first. Yeah. Oh, that's so good, guys. And it all started when Logan saw, if this guy can be so committed to a bad idea, he can be committed to me.
I go all in, man. Whether it's attempted kidnapping or committing to raising a family.
So many steps there, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't want my
Get
mom's
a van.
Yeah, mom's van. Doesn't look good.
We ended. Well, yeah, because my car's scary.
Yeah, it's cold out here. So good, you guys. Well, there's so many topics in a healthy relationship that Judah and Logan would love to talk to any of you guys about and help you take notes on. So please grab a hold of them if you have some questions on the way out. They love talking finances, obviously grace, obviously dating. They have a different and interesting perspective. You guys said that you didn't really date in groups or date a lot of other people. And in our society today, it's like try to date a bunch of people or date as early as possible. What did that look like for you, and what kind of wisdom would you give this generation, if they have questions like that? But we don't have a lot of time. We got to wrap up because it is almost 8, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to tell your Canadian tiny house story. This is arguably better than the first date story, maybe? This is when you were married, too?
It's close.
Okay.
Do you want to tell it?
Canadian tiny house story in
It's
4
a quick
minutes.
one.
It's 5 minutes.
It's quick and fast, just like the tornado.
Just like
That almost killed us.
So after we got married, we didn't really have a lot of money for a honeymoon, so we did something cheap. Well, cheap at the time, we thought, was Kalahari. And so we got there, and we got married on a Sunday. And so during the week, we didn't realize that Kalahari doesn't really, operate at full capacity during the week. And so a lot of things were closed, so we were kind of frustrated with that. And so we ended up getting our refund, and Judah ended up going on Airbnb and booking us a stay at a tiny house, which we've always wanted to try. But on Airbnb, it doesn't tell you the address of the house until you book it. He books it. It's in Canada. Thankfully that we had our passports, so we're like, okay, let's just go for a road trip. So we get there, and it's a really cute tiny house on like a vineyard, and we start settling in for the night, and all of a sudden we hear wind. We feel wind, we hear wind, this tiny house is swaying. And so we're like freaking out a little bit, about to text our host when we get a alert on our phones from, I don't know Canada's like hierarchy, but like.
from Canada.
Yeah, from Canada.
Tornado's coming, sorry. Like real loud.
Yeah. But saying that there's a tornado on our way, like, to us. And so we're like, oh my gosh, is this really a thing? And then all of a sudden we get a message from our host saying, I'm so sorry, we can't have you stay here, it's a liability. You can bunker down with us in that barn, or we can put you up in a motel. And we're like, let's go to the motel. And so we pack everything up, we hit the road, we pass the motel, we turn around, our car stalls while there's like trees like swaying everywhere. It's chaos. We finally pull into the motel. He books a room. He takes me into the room because I'm like freaking out. And it's one of those motels where like the door of the room is like outside. Yeah. And so you just like walk in, there's your room. And so we're like, okay, this is not that safe. There's a huge window, there's a door. So we make a action plan to like, use the mattress, all the furniture to board up the windows, the door. We make a plan to like go to the bathroom because it's the only room that doesn't have a window. And we bunker down for the night. We pray all night, like get us out of here. And we wake up at 5 a.m. We're alive. Yeah. We're alive.
Very relaxed.
Yeah. And we like look at each other like, let's get to the USA.
There's no tornadoes in America.
Yeah. Yeah. So we pack everything up and we just literally book it back across the border. And during both border crosses, we got stopped both times. First, I don't even know why, but we got searched. Yeah. So that delayed both parties. And then we finally got home. We looked at each other like, we're never leaving again.
We never have.
Yeah. So that's how we got chased out of Canada by a tornado on our honeymoon.
Great first story of the marriage. Wow. That's how you do it. Go find yourselves a tornado. I love it.
I know we have very limited time, but there's a couple things that I would be very remiss to not tell them. Could I do like a speed run of a couple things we wanted to touch on very quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the questions talks about bad advice that you hear, like about relationships. Like, what's the worst advice you've ever gotten? Mm-hmm. And there's one specific one, but it ties into a much larger idea. So has anyone ever heard the thing like, don't go to bed angry? Like if you're with somebody, don't go to bed. It's bull. It's the worst advice I've ever received in my entire life. Because that's impossible. You can't talk a problem into the ground until it stops being a problem. Like people in an afternoon. And this goes for not only marriages, but dating, with your family, with friends of yours. Like, people need time to heal. You can't expect people to get over problems like along your time frame. Mm. And just in general, a lot of advice that you hear, if it sounds like it's based off of something people have seen in movies, any relationship in a movie, basically, is not good advice. Like, relationships are extremely complicated and chaotic and unpredictable, and if you've never been in one before, there's a huge learning curve. So yeah, it's okay to go to bed angry. People need time to heal. It's okay for you to not be happy all the time. That's part of what relationships are. Another thing for us, one of the questions talked about values, or like, what's the purpose of dating? Do you want to, or do you just want me to okay, that's fine. I will never lose my voice. I could talk for hours. Check out my podcast. It doesn't exist yet, but it will. Another thing we talk about is like, what's the purpose of dating? What's the purpose of marriage? So marriage is a good time for two people to form into a singular unit, right? But to do that, dating is for learning about each other's big values, right? Like, little values can change, like what kind of house you want to move into or how many kids you want to have can change. But big values, like somebody's relationship with the Lord, how somebody views their finances, what people want to do for a living, where people want to live, things like that don't tend to change, and you can't like someone so hard that they change. Like, that doesn't happen, and it's super unhealthy. And people might even change for a season for you. Like, if somebody isn't a follower of Christ, and then through dating, they say, like, hey, I like you a lot, and I'll start going to church if it means I get to keep dating you, or something like that. Like, they can for a little while, but eventually, whether it's a year from now, or 10 years, or 20 years, a person can't keep that up forever, and they eventually will burn out and go back to the person that they were. So dating is the time to learn who the other person is and see if you can see yourself with that person long term with who they are right now. Little things can change, but the big things won't. And that ties into the idea of finding the one, right? And what's interesting is that, like, no Christian leader that I've followed, or no Bible verse that I've read includes God saying that, like, hey, I've hidden a person somewhere on earth for you, and you gotta find Waldo? Like, everyone else is trash, and there's one singular partner who, if you find them, you get locked in, and statistically they live within 70 miles of your hometown. That's not how it works. The Bible does, though, talk a lot about when you are with a person, what are indicators that that person is a good influence in your life? What are indicators that you two will work well together? When you do form a union with them through marriage, what are ways to keep that marriage strong? So, as unromantic as it sounds, Logan and I have come to terms with the fact that we're not the one for each other. Like, if I weren't with Logan, I'd be single, but that's only because it's because I'm toxic. And Logan would be married to like an orthodontist named Greg, and she'd live in a manufactured home somewhere, but that's okay.
The dream.
But we met each other, and through our relationship with God, we are able to find communication skills, ways to talk to each other, ways to live life, and ways to make decisions that have made our relationship work. Like, there's falling in love, and that's mostly just like the excited emotions you get when you meet somebody that you vibe with really hard. Like, falling in love is just vibing super hard with someone you find attractive. Then past that, being in love with someone is a choice that you pick up every day. You wake up every day and you choose to love the partner that you've chosen. And I've chosen Logan, which I feel is a good decision. She has chosen me, which she's still figuring that out, but we continue every day to decide to love each other, to decide to work together, to bring honor to God, to honor each other, and to form healthy relationships. So if you're with somebody and you feel like they're not healthy for you, but you've already said you love, like, I love you to them, or they've said I love you to them, like, don't feel like, oh, I'm with this person, or we've already taken this step, or we've already taken this step, so I have to be with them. It's more important that you find somebody that honors you, that honors Christ, that wants to use your relationship to honor Christ, and will take steps to form that bond with you. It's not so much about how you feel with them the first couple times you date. So if you ever want to talk about that, if you ever want to talk about finance, that's not a joke. I know it's really boring, but we love talking about finances. If you ever want to talk about dating or marriage or what messy, sticky relationships are like, we're pros at messy, sticky, difficult relationships. We've kind of mastered them, or we've mastered not being masters of them. So please talk to us. We would love to talk to you. That's
right on. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so good. So fun talking to you guys and having your stories. And what I learned is that healthy relationships like this are going to be built on deciding to love the person in a non-toxic way. With the love of Jesus, and communicating is key. You guys asked questions, deep questions of each other, and thought about your future, and does this match? Those are all things, and grace, giving each other grace. Even when you're having those conversations and practicing sacrificial love in those conversations. So love that. Let me pray for you guys, and you guys can pray in your minds with me over this couple and over your future possible relationship and all that jazz. Heavenly Father, thanks for tonight. Thanks for all the students here and us getting to learn from this couple, and just the couples throughout these past few weeks and their perspectives has been so phenomenal, God. And I just pray for a generation that follows the good and gets the advice of the fumbles along the way from all of us older folks that have gone through dating or gone through singleness. And God, I pray over Judah and Logan's marriage right now, and so thankful that you are growing them, that you are teaching them, that you're bringing a fruitful marriage into this world to be a light in the darkness, God, and that they're just awesome people created by you that are leaning into you together. And that's just a powerful thing to see and to be a part of, and to have in my life and to have in everybody's life that gets to be here tonight. So God, bless their marriage, their union, bless their conversations, their future together, and give them wisdom as they walk together and live out a marriage that is honoring to you and models the way that you love. And God, I pray that same future for our students tonight here. In Jesus' name, amen.